everyone. Welcome to another press conference. We seem to have these every day at the moment. Announcing our December the 8th Christmas Cracker Bill at Olympia. Going to be our final show of the year and one that perhaps we're looking forward to the most of the calendar so far. Just to introduce everybody at the table here, we're swamped by fighters today because we're going to have a 12-fight card here on the 8th, 6 title fights as well. Starting down on the left, the current Southern area light welterweight champion Danny Connor. Number 2, the current undefeated and soon to be English middleweight champion John Ryder. Former European middleweight champion Kerry. The current British sort of European and WBA number 2 Gavin Rees. Down the end, our undefeated cruiserweight Waddy Camacho. Southern area light welterweight challenger Chris Evangelou. Current English light middleweight champion Erick the Eagle Ochieng. And British, Commonwealth, European undefeated and former world title challenger Darren Barker. And current IBF, international and English light welterweight champion. That reminds me, we've got to relinquish that English title later. Yeah. We've got a very, very interesting card lined up. I want to talk about each fighter individually that we're going to be looking at on this show. Firstly, talking about Gavin Rees. Gavin is in a very interesting position at the moment. Number 2 in the WBA, will just relinquish the European title, still British champion. The WBA rulings state that in a vacant title, number 1 must fight number 2 for the world title. We were asked by Gilberto Mendoza to make the fight between Richard Abril and Gavin Rees for the vacant WBA title. As such, since then, Richard Abril has agreed to fight Sharif Bagheri later this year. We believe, and our legal advisors believe, that fight can't be made for the WBA title. So our legal advisors are now in contact with Mr Mendoza and the WBA to just reassure them that Gavin is very much available to fight for the WBA title. Whatever happens, Gavin will be in a top fight on December the 8th, which will be announced this week. We've agreed terms with John Murray and his management team to take the fight against Gavin Rees. Great money for them and no options, and now we look for the blessing of Frank Warren to take that fight, which we hope will happen in the next few days. If not, there's other big domestic fights out there. Kevin Mitchell was also keen for the fight, Anthony Crolla, Gary Sykes, all these names, but for us, we're number 2 in the WBA and you know, we want to move forward for a world title fight. Lee Purdy, what a fight. Lee Purdy against Carson Jones. Probably a fight that took about an hour to make. I spoke to Lee, who actually would fight anyone on this planet, and Tony Sims, his trainer and manager. And Carson Jones was a fight they really wanted. You know, Lee's now moved up the IBF rankings. I think Carson Jones is 5 or 6 in the IBF rankings now. So just when people talk about styles make fights, Lee Purdy against Carson Jones, for me, it's just got all the ingredients to be fight of the year. It's a bold move by Lee. It's a fight he and I and Tony and the team believe we can win, but it's a big challenge. And Carson Jones took the fight in a heartbeat. He loved coming over here in the UK. He's got himself a lot of fans for the Kell Brook fight. But you know, we believe that Lee Purdy's going to go on that fight and win that fight. And when he does, make a statement and move up potentially in the top 5 in the IBF. Darren Barker will take on Kerry on December the 8th at Olympia. For me, a great, great fight. Darren's been through an awful lot. No one's sitting here to feel sorry for him. And you know, he's cheered up now. He's ready. He's back. He trained so hard for the fight at Alexandra Palace against Simone Rotolo, and of course had the freak injury, but it was a blow. Now he's over it, now he's back. I feel that we needed to give him a challenge, and there's nothing like a big domestic challenge to try and get yourself back into it and get yourself up for it. So Kerry, you know, we all saw what he done against Proxer the first time round. Great win to win the European title, lost it in a rematch, but still a fight that has all kinds of different connotations. For Kerry, you know, to relaunch himself onto that European and world scene in a fight with Darren, for Darren to get himself back on track and try and get that world title shot in early 2013. John Ryder, our undefeated middleweight, will take on Grosvenor for the English title. A fight that's going to see many, many fans gather to the Olympia. John's a big ticket seller, so is Grosvenor. I want to thank Spencer Fear on Hard Knocks for their assistance in making that fight. It's a great fight. And John's ready now. You know, I think he was probably ready for a title fight at Alexandra Palace. We couldn't deliver that for him. but we've delivered it now, and you know, really looking for him to bag his first title before the end of the year. Erick the Eagle Ochieng, someone who we're finding it very, very difficult to get these big fights for because no one seems to want to fight him, but we will get there. You know, we've made it clear we want to fight Brian Rose. Jamie Cox is a Commonwealth champion. We've already written to Simon Block to you know, view our disappointment of how inactive Jamie's been. We like to keep these belts busy. You see how active we keep our guys. We like to make sure that they're boxing as frequently as possible. And you know, we want to make that Commonwealth title fight with Jamie Cox. If not, you know, I've said before, after his last fight, I think we've served our purpose for the English light middleweight title. So maybe it's a case of bringing over a big international name and fighting for an intercontinental title or something like that. But it's time for Erick to really step up. A great little rematch on the card as well. Danny Connor against Chris Evangelou for the Southern Area light welterweight title. I'm sure a lot of you in this room saw that fight. A lot of you have your views on the way you would have scored that fight. I had it close, but I did have Chris winning. Sorry, Danny, you know. But a lot of people had Chris winning, some had Danny winning. But it doesn't matter. The result is set in stone. But now they'll have a chance to rematch. I just want to thank Danny as well for taking that rematch because, you know, he didn't have to do it.
Thanks, Dan.
And you know, he feels he can do the job again, and I think if he can move on and fight for British titles and so forth. Again, Danny's a huge ticket seller. We love having him on the Matchroom shows. He's a great lad, and he's going to sell a lot of tickets over in West London, and I'm sure Chris will do the same. Also on the bill is all our youngsters coming through at the moment. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the fight on Saturday night. Callier Fire looks like a world-class prospect. Scotty Cardle the same. Young Martin Ward, who unfortunately couldn't box through injury on Saturday. Now we're looking at 12 fights on this bill. We're going to start nice and early. It's our way of saying thank you to the fans for all your support. We've come back into boxing in a big way this year, and we're going to continue the pace and step up the pace again in 2013. And this is a big final thank you for the fans for all the support so far. So one guy I missed out in the end, Wally Camacho. We've already made requests to the Southern Area for Tony Conquest to give up his Southern Area belt now that he's WBO European champion. And we've already got a couple of opponents in mind for Wally's first title fight there on December the 8th. So I'm going to start off by, I want everybody to say a few words, and I might ask you the odd question because I know some of you don't like to say too much, just knock people out. But Danny, looking forward to the fight. I know you felt you won the fight.
Well, I did win the fight, mate.
Well, you actually, you definitely won the fight. Schooled me there, by the way.
Can't wait for the fight, obviously. And like I said, if I can win this, bigger and better things. I'm sure Chris is confident, but I'm just as confident. And on the night, I know I'm going to walk out the winner again, so I just can't wait for it now.
And obviously, you know, the first fight around, you fancy your chances again. It was a great fight. You come on strong late.
Definitely, like in my whole career, amateur or pro, I've never lost twice to an opponent. I've always won the second fight. And to be quite honest,
so you didn't lose the first time then?
No, I didn't lose the first time. But either way, like, I boxed Chris when I had a chest infection and tendons in my hand were busted. I couldn't even throw my right properly. So we see how you do against me when I'm 100% in it this time round. I guarantee I'll win this fight. I promise you that now.
Chris, you know, I know you felt you won it, but big challenge for you because you have to win this fight, don't you?
Yeah, got to win this fight.
Nowhere to go if you lose this one.
Say that again?
Nowhere to go if you lose this one, is there? You have to pack it in, man. You can't win the Southern Area, what are you going to do?
Exactly, if I don't win the Southern Area, what can I do, you know? I thought it was actually one of my career best performances, and the irony was I never walked out with the win.
That was your best performance.
One of my career best performances. Well, you know, I let you speak, Danny, man. You let me speak. Thank you, bro. You know, I took the fight, and during the fight, I thought I was outboxing Danny a lot in the earlier rounds, but I thought I'll pace myself because it's 10-rounder. I know Danny's he's a tough fighter, hasn't been stopped, so I just sort of went to more of a calmer sort of setting in the fight and just coasted it, and that was my mistake because I didn't realise what the scoring was going to be. But you know what? That wasn't even my 100% either. There was a lot of things I did wrong before the fight, but now I've got them right. I've got every box ticked. I've done the 10-rounder now. I think that's what Danny had over me in the last fight, was that he'd done a 10-rounder and I haven't. But now that box is ticked for me, so I don't really see anywhere on the statistics or as physical or as a boxer that Danny beats me on in an advantage. So this is going to be a great fight. I'm sure Danny's up for it. He's going to want to prove everyone wrong that he is a better boxer than me. I'm going to want to do the same. So you're going to have to see this fight because it's going to be fight of the night again.
Thanks, Chris. I'm looking forward to this one already. And you know, this is a great thing about boxing. This is a great fight, first time, a great fight, second fight. Even the Southern Area title, which is a great stepping stone to move on to bigger and better things. But we can get this excited and have this many people come down to watch this particular fight because, like I said, both huge ticket sellers, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting. The Eagle?
Yes. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be on the 8th December. It's going to be another great performance. First of all, I want to give thanks to the Matchroom and Sky to be good to me. Putting good fight together. And yeah, so I'm prepared. I'm hungry, ready to fight. Always in the gym, learning and getting better. And you haven't seen the best of me yet. The best is yet to come. And people ask me when is what's your best performance? Today. I said my next fight. So you don't want to miss it. I'm just loving it. And as I keep saying, I'm already world champion. Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Thank you.
Oh, man. What I love about Erick and Brian is that they're out for fighting anyone, anywhere, anytime, which makes it a lot easier as a promoter. So pressure's on me now to develop something big for you and deliver something. John, your first title fight?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to have got it in the last show, but it wasn't to be. So it's really looking forward to it. It's pretty hard. Just can't wait now.
And a perfect apprenticeship, really, even if I may say so myself. But you boxed on all the big shows all over the country, and again now a fight, probably your first time fighting someone who's a big ticket seller who's going to have a lot of support there in Crescent-Cato. They're quite mad, those Albanian fans.
Yeah, they're going to be loud. They're going to be there in full. So I'm looking forward to it. They're going to see him get beat, but it's going to be a good night.
Good man. And Kerry, big fight for you this. I know you fancy the chances. You're fighting a world-class fighter who hasn't been active for a while, and now under Gary Lockett, up for the challenge.
Yeah, I'm all up for a challenge tomorrow, right? First, I got to say thank to yourself and Matchroom for having me part of the bill. I'm not going to be ended out again going into this fight, but I can assure you it's not going to come on that way. I'm confident. All the pressure's on Darren. He's the one who like you say, is the fear of that fight. He's the one boxing in his own town. So let's do it, I'll be ready.
Man, Darren, I think you're going to be much more up for this fight than Rotolo, being a domestic fight.
100%, being a domestic fight makes it that much bigger. First, I want to say I respect Kerry as a fighter and Gary as a coach, but I honestly think fighting me now is a dangerous time. When I look back at my career, or I look at it in stages or chapters, and when I look at the last chapter, I hit rock bottom. It was horrible, physically, mentally, I was in a bad way. But now, I'm ready to turn the page. I'm feeling good mentally. I honestly am feeling really, really good. And physically, I'm getting better by the hour, and I'm ready to take this middleweight division by the horns and ride it to the finish line now, which is ultimately me winning a world title. So, look forward to it.
A great time in the division. Kerry, yourself, Macklin, Murray. So many good fights.
We hear it all the time, but there is a pot of gold at the end of this fight. Whoever wins this gets them big fights, and I believe I'm world class, as are the other fighters in the division. And like you say, there's some real big domestic dust ups, and the division internationally as well is big and exciting. So I feel I'm part of it, and I can't wait to get back involved.
Good, and again, great making a big domestic fight. Darren, we all know how many tickets he sells, and Kerry also is a big ticket seller. He had a lot come up for the Proxer fight in Sheffield, and I think being on the end of the M4 at Olympia, you and Gavin will have a lot coming up yourself. Lee, Carson Jones, you've seen the fight, you've seen him fight Brooke.
This is why I love what I do, being a part of a big show and fighting big names. I love to please the crowd, and fighting Carson Jones is exactly going to do that. And he's ranked really high, and when I knock Carson Jones out, people keep talking about Kell and Khan and Ham fighting, but when I beat Carson, it puts me amongst them names.
Well, we'd love the Hatton fight. We put your name forward in the mix for that, and I'm not sure for a comeback that would have been the wisest thing to do. But again, you took the shot against Carrasco at fairly short notice, and it's really catapulted you on. I mean, with Lee Purdy, he lost the British title to Colin Lyons. That wasn't the real Lee Purdy in there that night. He knows that. But from there, it's remarkable what's happened in such a short space of time. We fought for the English title against Adnan Amar. He won that. Then he defended it. Then he took a short-term risk fight against Carrasco, which no one knew a lot about other than he punched hard and he was very, very tough. He demolished him. And now he's fighting Carson Jones for the IBF international title to really push himself to the top 5 in the world. Now, Carson Jones, I think he's 7 or 8 even in box rec. So I think they're talking about him taking him just outside the ring ratings as well, Carson Jones. So, for Lee Purdy, this is a great fight and one that we're really confident on. But, I know that a lot of people will fancy Carson Jones for the fight, but for us, it's a fight that started today. We're really, really fancy, and I know that Tony does as well. Gavin, I know you really, really want the John Murray fight, and we've got to sort out a few things with the WBA this week, but I know you'll fight anyone at any time.
Yeah, of course. We've got the fights in Britain everyone, the Burns, Mitchell and Murray fight, so these fights are easy to be made, just for a certain promoter putting options in. Take these options out and a winner takes all. It's straightforward, easily agreed. Me and the fighters who want to fight, let's give the British product what they want to see.
Just to clear up the Burns issue with Gavin, we were offered the fight. The first offer was quite insulting. It did increase to halfway to reasonable, but they offered 3 options for that, and we felt that one option would have been sufficient, a rematch option for that fight. But Gavin's a big part of what we're trying to deliver at Matchroom. He wants to stay within the Matchroom setup. He wants to be a Matchroom fighter and have his future and destiny controlled by Matchroom. Again, we've offered this fight to Mitchell and Murray with no options, just great money. So we don't see any reason why that shouldn't be taken. Obviously, Murray has accepted terms, his manager has accepted terms, and now they're looking for the blessing of their promoter, which hopefully we look to receive in the next few days. But we'll be making a press announcement about the WBA situation and Gavin's next fight in the next couple of days. So we're going to go to the floor now for one-on-ones. You can ask questions to any fighter, and then we're going to break for a few photos and one-on-one. So we'll go to the floor for questions first of all. Any questions?
Yeah, John, Qualto, do you know much about him?
I know he's had a few fights. He's been around a long time. He's had a few losses, and I'm just looking to give him another loss.
So have you seen him on tape or anything like that, or have you actually seen him live, because it's been on lots of shows?
I see his last fight against Matt Haney. He got decked heavy. I think it was the 3rd round, but he got up to recover and did well. So I'm just looking to hit him hard enough that he doesn't get up.
Questions, guys?
Woody Camacho.
Yes.
How excited are you to be fighting on the 8th?
Oh, really excited. Like, basically, it's just Christmas just come early for me, basically, my Christmas present, and just bombs away really. Like, whoever it is, they're gonna get the same medicine as everyone else.
We're just trying to get Waddy to come out of himself a little bit. He's very shy. I don't know if you've seen him. He walks around with 5 or 6 models. I think we got reports from the last VIP bar that he strolled in, got some champagne for the girls, and then when I asked to pay for it, he just said, "Don't be silly, I'm Waddy Camacho."